It's incredible that good people are hard to find. Amen, amen. And many of us single folk can attest to the fact, amen, that good people are hard to find. And one reason good people are so hard to find is because we are choosing from faulty mechanisms. But good people are hard to find. The Lord challenges us with questions. And one question that he challenges us with, he says that the heart is deceitful and desperately wicked above all. And now here's the question: who can know it? He is asking, who can know that part of a man that formulates and comprises who he is outside of his physical pulchritude? In other words, it's not about physicality, because even though you can identify a particular wrapping, it does not mean that you know the individual character. And so what he's saying is that the mechanism by which I choose from is the heart, but my heart is deceitful. So how can I make a good choice when I really don't know what I want? You see, because I'm choosing what I think I want, but my heart has already fooled me. So I'm choosing out of faulty mechanisms, seeking something that's difficult to find.
But we long for permanence. We long for someone to step in and promise us that they'll never run out. We all want that, right? And somewhere between the longing for marriage and the state of marriage, there is a process of evaluation. But this process is fraught with danger. Between singleness, a guy and a girl just doing stuff, and people being married, there exists a process of evaluation. It has always been this way. Here's the reality tonight. Anybody can get a date, and anybody can get married. You set your standards low enough, you can get it tonight, right? But a lot don't do it well. But to have a great dating experience and to have a great marriage, one you rejoice in and not regret, all of that is based on two factors: who you date and how you date. The who and the how. The person and the process.
More than anything else, the devil would love to distract you. And I don't know anything faster that can derail your destiny than to be married to the wrong person. If you get hooked up with the wrong person, it can derail your destiny. Before you hook up with anybody, before you get married, I want you to ask yourself, what is the history of this person's decisions? Because when you marry somebody, you don't marry personality, you marry character. Their character is revealed by the quality of the decisions that they make. What kind of decisions are they making? What is the history of their decisions? Then you need to ask yourself, whose voice do they respect and trust? Whose voice do they respect and trust? Because whose voice they respect and trust is going to determine how they will be in their life. Because you may not be marrying them, you're marrying the voice of the person whose life they trust and respect. So you have to ask yourself some questions about them. And then you have to ask yourself this third question: what is their daily routine? To keep you from getting involved in a relationship with the wrong kind of person, ask yourself the question, what is their daily routine? If you show me your daily routine, I will show you where you will be 10 years down the road. Because the secret of success is always found in the daily routine. You don't become successful in a day. Success comes daily. It comes daily. It doesn't come in a day, it comes daily. If you look at what you're doing on a daily basis, that will reveal your real success in life. And that's where we have to look to see where we are, who we're getting involved with. When you are in a position, you recognize your mate by their faces. In the Hebrew, they don't even have a singular word for face, because they know that we have different faces with different people. So it's always in the plural, F-A-C-E-S, faces. You will recognize your spouse by their face, by their faces. The F stands for their family background, their family background. When you look at the family background, you see fruit does not fall too far from the tree. So you have to look at their family background. The A is their attitude. Look at their attitude, not just their external looks, their beauty or handsomeness. You want to look at their attitude, because they might be very attractive on the outside but have a very ugly attitude on the inside. You know them by their family background. You know them by their attitude. The C is compatibility. You know them by whether or not they are compatible with you, by whether you're compatible financially, whether you're compatible from an educational standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, whether you're compatible in your faith. You know them by the compatibility component, not just whether I'm saved and you're saved. I see saved people get divorces because they're incompatible. So you want to check the compatibility factor. Do we value the same things about health and about education and about recreation? Where are our values? Are we culturally compatible here? Spiritually compatible here? Financially compatible here? Then the E are the experiences that they have had. Their family background, their attitude, compatibility, the experiences that they have from the past. You don't just marry who a person is, you marry everybody that they've been. You marry everything that has happened to them, because you marry a person and then you do something and then you get a reaction. And if you're with a person and you do something and that the reaction is bigger than the action that you did, it means that the reaction is about something that happened before you even came into the picture. And so it's about experiences from the past. And then the S are the skills that they bring to the relationship. So when you know a person, you know them by their faces, their family background, their attitude, the compatibility component, the experiences from the past, and the skills that they bring to the table. That's how you begin to know whether this person is designed to be connected with me in my life or not.
Dating is a process of evaluation. What are you evaluating? A person. And you're evaluating to try to see, is this the right person for me to spend the rest of my life with? And so the natural questions become, what qualities should I be looking for? That's the who question. And then another question rises up where you go, well then what's the best way to move through this process to arrive at the right person? What's the proper way to move through it? That's the how question. How do I get successfully to that right person? Those are the two big questions in the process of dating, who and how. Now, as soon as I say that, I know some of you might say, well, Ben, okay, you're telling us about this process called dating, but here's the thing, the Bible doesn't talk about dating. Dating's not in the Bible. So what are you gonna say to us? Just give us advice from you? No, the Bible does not talk about dating, but the Bible has much to say about evaluation. Look at Proverbs 25, verse 24. It says, it's better to live in the corner of a roof than in a house shared with a contentious or quarrelsome woman, right? That's not written for the married guy. It's not written for the guy that's already there like, now you tell me why, God, that's not for him. That's written for you. That's while you're evaluating a certain girl. You go, okay, it's better to live on the corner of a roof than with a contentious woman. All right, and then you start looking at her and go, is she always upset? And the book of Proverbs and much of the Bible has a lot to say about a good woman or a good wife that she's more valuable than precious jewels, right? Ladies, later in Proverbs 25:28, it says, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. In ancient cities, the wall brought security and it brought peace. You dating a guy that's got a temper? Does he explode? Is he a bully? You don't want to live with that guy. Because if you bind yourself with him, he will not build up your house, he'll destroy it. You will live your days as a married woman without peace, and you will not feel safe. So the Bible's filled with helpful information about the process of evaluation. And our modern problem, if I could give us one of our modern problems in this process of dating tonight, is that we tend to look for characteristics rather than character. We tend to focus on characteristics rather than character. And you say, what do you mean by characteristics? Well, I mean, we look at features or qualities of a person. And those aren't bad things to notice, but they're bad foundations. Ask somebody what they're looking for in a girl or in a guy. And what's gonna come out? Features, things about them. Try it. Think about the last conversation you had with a girl. What kind of guy are you looking for? I don't know. I want him to be tall, but not too tall. You know, just like taller than me, right? He definitely has to have abs, but I don't want him to like be in the gym all the time. I want it to be natural, right? On and on we go to describe what a guy's like, right? And we sort of assemble all these pieces to a fantasy person. And guys do it too. I mean, guys, our modern age, you look at an endless display of images of women. And even though you don't say it out loud to your friends, you start to assemble in your mind what you want. Well, I want her to have a chest like Kim Kardashian, but a rear like a gymnast. Good luck in finding that one, right? You start to create a fantasy woman in your mind. And we start to try to assemble the fantasy person like we're assembling a sandwich at Subway, right? But that sets us up for so much disappointment and so much discouragement. There's some real problems with that. Why? Number one is that when you create an epic fantasy person, no actual human being can measure up to that. Nobody can.
Jim Rohn said that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And then I want you to think about those in your personal life, because they could be distractions. And ask yourself some questions, because you don't get answers unless you ask questions. Ask yourself this question: what have they got you doing? What have they got you doing? You have to ask yourself some questions. What have they got you doing? What have they got you listening to? What have they got you listening to? What have they got you reading? The people that are close to you in your life, what have they got you reading? Where have they got you going? Where have they got you going? What have they got you thinking? The people that are close to you in your life, what have they got you thinking? How have they got you talking? How have they got you talking? The people that are close to you. How have they got you feeling? The people that are really close in your inner circle. And what have they got you saying? Nothing sabotages a life mission as quickly as wrong relationships. It is better to be alone than in wrong company. It is better to be alone than to be in wrong company. Because the less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Have you ever been delayed in reaching a goal in your life? You have to ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing? Who am I with? What have they got me doing? Just look at the fruit that is coming out of your life, and then you can tell whether or not you've been distracted or not. And I want you to understand this very clearly. Evil is anything that distracts you from your purpose and your God-given mission.